Hello, it's Matt and this is Collaboration Coach. This time we're going to have a look at the MyAnalytics feature. MyAnalytics is an app that's part of Office 365 and Microsoft say that its goal is to improve our productivity by analysing the work we do and using that data to help us work smarter. In this video we're going to look at how we can use the MyAnalytics app to do just that. MyAnalytics is included for everyone using Microsoft 365 Enterprise and Business subscriptions. It collects data about what we do, like scheduling a meeting or sending an email, and it turns that activity into what it calls insights. Insights allow us to see how we're spending our time, and it categorizes them into 4 main elements: focus, well-being, network, and collaboration. Then it tries to help us change the way we work to make us more productive. You can get access to these insights through a dashboard, which is a web app in the Office 365 app launcher. And there's also a weekly email that summarizes all that activity. If you're a business or enterprise customer, you should already see a button on the app launcher called MyAnalytics, and that will take you to the dashboard. When you land on the dashboard homepage, you'll see that the left-hand navigation has pages for these 4 areas: focus, well-being, network, and collaboration. And on the homepage itself, you see a summary for each of these sections. Focus looks at whether you're having enough uninterrupted time to get your work done. Well-being is tracking whether you're using Office 365 outside of your normal working hours. Network shows you the people in your organization that you collaborate with most. And collaboration shows you how you spend your time while you work with others. It uses your activity, so the things you've done in Office 365 from the last 4 weeks. So let's look at focus first. When Microsoft says focused, it means uninterrupted time where you don't have meetings or interaction with anybody else. The first thing you can do in the focus area is to create a focus plan. When you create a plan, MyAnalytics will add 2 hours of focus time to your calendar every day for the next 2 weeks. It looks at what meetings you already have and schedules focus time in around them. While focus time is in your schedule, it will automatically change your Microsoft Teams status to focusing, and you'll only get notifications for urgent messages and priority contacts in Teams. Also, if someone invites you to a meeting that clashes with your scheduled focus time, MyAnalytics flags this as needing a review. You can then click on the review button and resolve the conflict in your calendar. Further down the focus page, you can see how much time was available for you to focus over the last 4 weeks, as opposed to collaboration with other people. If you're not leaving much time for focus, it will be obvious from the chart, and you can create a plan to make sure that you get more focus time. The Wellbeing page is about how much you use Office 365 outside of your normal working day. Quiet hours are when you don't read emails, attend meetings, have chats and take calls outside of your working hours, which is a good thing. Microsoft research suggests that people who have a hard stop to the end of their workday report lower levels of stress. So the goal of the Wellbeing page is to track when you're doing too much work to avoid feeling stressed. You can see how many quiet hours at a glance in the Quiet Days section. And on the 4-week trend, you can see which days you are using Office 365 outside of your working hours. They're marked in grey on this chart. If you have too many grey days, then you're working too hard. So keep an eye on this chart and make sure you don't. And the pie chart in the top right shows you what you did if you worked during a quiet hour. So from that chart, you can understand what type of work you were doing after hours. And if the majority is email, for example, then perhaps schedule some time during the work day to concentrate on email. The network page is all about the people you work with. It shows you how many collaborators you have in your network and which ones are active and how many there are in total. Active ones are ones that you've worked with in the last 4 weeks, and then the total, the ones you've worked with in the last 12 months. The top collaborators map adds an icon for every person that you're actively working with. And you can also filter the list by external, new, and important. You can set which contacts are important to you in the section below. Type the name of the person you want to add in the search box here, and it will look through your organization's directory. Then you can add them to the important map just by touching this star. Once they're on the map, you'll be reminded of tasks and unread emails from them. The network page can show you who you're spending most of your time with. Using that information, you can choose whether you need to spend more or less time with them. Maybe you're neglecting a member of your team and you need to show them some more love. The network page will tell you when that's happening. The collaboration page helps you understand how you spend your time with others and how you could be more productive. It starts by showing you how much time was available for focus and how much was spent collaborating in this weekly average section here. Then below, it shows you what your meeting habits are. So for example, you can see which meetings you organized or accepted during working hours. So if that percentage is low, you're doing too many out of hours meetings. So the higher the percentage on each of these metrics, the better. Make sure you track this to understand where you can change your meeting habits. Below, it shows you your communication habits and how you're connecting with your colleagues. You can see how many emails you sent and read, how many chats and calls you had, and when you had them over the last 4 weeks. Research shows that batching communications can help reduce stress and increase productivity. So try to set aside some time to do just email rather than do it sporadically across the day. Finally, I should say a little bit about privacy, because this tends to come up when I talk about MyAnalytics with my customers. People like to know how their personal data is being processed. Microsoft has an article on privacy, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But the key points are that MyAnalytics analyzes data in your mailbox, including email, calendar, chat, and call data from Teams. And it stores and processes that data inside of your mailbox. It says that MyAnalytics is not designed to evaluate or profile us. It also says you don't get any access to personally identifiable information on anyone else in your organization. And for those of us in the European Union, MyAnalytics has been designed to support GDPR. If you would rather not have this data collected and presented here, you can opt out of MyAnalytics by going to the settings cog on the dashboard and choosing the MyAnalytics settings, and then toggling MyAnalytics to off. So there you have some tips to help you work smarter using the MyAnalytics dashboard. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.